Everybody, welcome back to another episode of DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, Mega 31. Got 11 game slate here for Tuesday. I hope you did well last night. The cash lineup was pretty much on point, and some of the GPP things were good too. Wasn't a super profitable night, but definitely ended up in the green. Hopefully you did too. Hopefully, if you're in Florida or in the south there in the rain, you're doing okay. That weather won't affect any contest tonight, but we do have one potential rain game and we have a lot of wind to talk about. So let's get into it. First game that I don't know if it's going to play is going to be the Angels and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. It looks like right now there's a straight 83% chance of rain straight through the game. So I don't think this is going to play. I'm not going to spend time on it. I was Daniels. I wouldn't play. He gives up a lot of power, especially to righties. Heel. Start out good, struggled, has been good recently. So against this Angels, I definitely think he's in play here. If you're paying up for a pitcher, Angels would just be contrarian in the Yankees. You probably could take anybody on the board. Toronto and Baltimore at Toronto. Grayson Rodriguez and Chris Bassett. Rodriguez just faced the Blue Jays, so it's a little bit concerning. So I'm going to put him down in the lower end of pay up pitchers. Toronto's not super impressive here. They did add a bunch of lefties to their lineup with the trade deadline, and the lineup's pretty much free now. I'll get that in a second. Chris Bassett on the other side. He's had points this season when we play him, but I definitely would not play him against Baltimore. Baltimore's with probably my second favorite stack because I don't think the Yankees' game's going to play. So Baltimore bats, you can pretty much take anyone. Cowser is great on top of the lineup there. Santander, Gunnar Henderson, Harmon. Rushman I haven't been playing as much recently. I still like him as a player, but he's just kind of in a funk there. Holiday has actually been better since they pulled him back up, so you can do a nice wraparound with him there at 3-1 on the bottom. Blue Jays, honestly, besides Vlad at 5-2, everybody else and Springer at 4-4, everybody else is 3K or in the 2K range. So great fill-ins here. They already just saw Grayson Rodriguez, and I think that if you're looking for some cheap fill-ins, they work pretty well for you. Milwaukee at the Braves, 88 degrees here, wind blowing out, so should be decent hitting conditions. Ray, so Ray is not the best pitcher, is not the worst pitcher in the world. So in the cheap range, I think you can take him to get to 10 to 12 points. Elder, I mean, he's been beat up pretty much a lot this season, so I don't think I'm really super enthusiastic about playing him either at almost 8K. Milwaukee, I think, makes a decent value stack here. But the way they have the projected lineup, there's a lot of righties at the top, but I guess with Elder's struggle, I guess you could play lefties or righties against him. So whatever works for you here, besides Contreras at 5-1 and Adames at 4-8, everybody else is in the really low 4K to 3K range. So I definitely can make it work for a stack for you. And the Braves, I haven't played them much recently, but it's probably just stack the top. Arcia has been not bad recently, but I don't like the righty on righty. I have him as like the top GPP stack just based on the total and the weather. But again, it just kind of speechless as to who to recommend for you to play here. I guess if you're doing it and it's going to be kind of expensive here, is going to be Soler, Riley, Ozuna, Olson, and Arcia. Maybe switch one out for Rosario at 3-2. Rays and the Cardinals, Jeffrey Springs and Sonny Gray. This is Springs' only second start back. He's probably going to only get 80 pitches. Like the Cardinals are nothing to write home about, and Springs was a super talent before he got hurt. So there is some potential there if you're a punting pitcher for your SP2. Gray, I think, is in a great spot here. Also, the wind's blowing in at 15 miles per hour, even though it's 92 degrees. That definitely it makes it's already a hitter's park unless the wind's blowing out, and that just helps the pitchers here even more. That wise, I just think both teams are going to be leverage plays for you. Sorry, so early in the morning here. Thought I drank enough water to get through this, but Okay, we're good to go. We're pushing through this here. No more moaning throat. Twins and Cubs. Pablo Lopez and Imana here. Winds blowing in here 20 miles per hour. In Wrigley, that is super significant. So I'm not touching any bats here. And Pablo Lopez and Imana are definitely um, in play here in pitchers. And Pablo Lopez is probably the best pitcher on the slate here. We saw, how Minnesota pitching did yesterday against the Cubs, and Lopez only 8K here, so definitely sign me up. I think he's going to be the chalk SP1 for most people on DraftKings. Houston and Texas, Valdez and Molly. Molly's just hasn't had too many starts recently since injury, and I know this isn't the Houston lineup of days past with really no power first baseman and Tucker out of it, but I think they can still do some damage. So they're not playing Molly. Valdez, I think it's okay, but Texas can put up runs in bunches too. So I'm not super confident on either pitcher. I think there's better ways to go in the mid range under Valdez, and I think with Male, I just don't. I think he's definitely a fade. So bat wise, Houston is definitely up there with the Mets, Baltimore, and Kansas City as probably one of my favorite stacks. And then Texas on the other side of things. The Texas bullpen isn't that great either, so I think that helps too. And then Texas, I think GPP, but I like Atlanta, Philly, the Dodgers, and Boston better than them. But I'll probably just stack all of those as ones in the GPP category and just like a dollar contest over the $3 like 20 max. Red Sox and Royals, Bello and Lugo. I like the price on Bello here, but the Royals have just been too hot recently. I can't do it. Wind again is in here 10 miles per hour, so it's not up on the board, but that helps a little bit too. It's a little bit cooler in KC. It's been in the 90s. It's like barely going to hit 80 and then fall off it during the rest of the game. So that should help pitching, but I don't think it's enough to play either one of these. I like both offenses, though. KC definitely is up there as one of the top ones, and Boston has been putting it together. I hear O'Neill is going to be out again with a stomach issue. He's probably not going to be back till Wednesday, his manager said. So I love the top of the order. It gives you four lefties in a row. They were Duran, Abreu, Yoshida, and Devers. And I played Wong yesterday as a one-off, and he had a home run, but he had like 14 DK points. So definitely a catcher that I really like playing at affordable price and a good spot in the lineup. So that would be my Boston stack. And KC, let's see who leads off. Massey usually leads off against the lefty, and he's only 4K or against the righty, which you can play against anybody. Pesca, Tino, then Melendez. That's probably where I'd go there. Isbell, I don't mind wrapping around with either. He's got definitely some really good speed. Course Field, Mets and Rockies, Severino and Freeland. Well, Severino's not a big K guy. It's a good matchup against the Rockies. So if you're cheap at 6'8", if you're punting, but I'm not saying he's like a must play by any means. There have been some really good matchups against the Rockies, even in Coors, and I don't think this is a good matchup. I think it's an okay matchup. I think it's if you want to try him in a GPP, that's fine, but I wouldn't play him in cash. Freeland on the other side has been doing better this year, but more so outside of Coors. And the Mets have just been very strong. And they're not priced up at all like they're in Coors Field. They're priced like a normal game here. Lindor is the most expensive at 5.9 here. Alonso is only 5.4. They should be 6K, mid 6K is probably for this matchup. And Tyrone Taylor's projected to hit second. He's got some speed there, has a little power too. At 3K at Coors Field, batting second is probably going to be a cash lock if that ends up happening. Colorado, like really like McBain here at only 4.3. The Rockies are relatively cheap. There's nobody above 4.9 and Doyle, and I think that if you want to stack them, that they make sense or they make sense as some one-off fill-ins in your cash lineup. White Sox and Oakland. Cannon, who was scratched yesterday in favor of Bush, is finally up today to pitch. against Stripling, who really doesn't have a high K rate, but it is against the White Sox. So Cannon, I'm not touching. Stripling, I think, is intriguing at 5'9". He really only needs to get you a dozen points, and I think he can do that against this White Sox lineup. So sign me up for a cheap SP2 there if I need somebody. Probably not a cash play, but definitely love it in a GPP. White Sox are going to be a contrarian. Remember, I like Vargas as my punt outfielder leading off there. He was really good talent for the Dodgers, just never got some playing time. So I use him as a fill-in quite often. And then Butler should return to lineup. He got the day off. So Butler, Bidet, Lade, not Bidet, Rookers, Langolier. You can play any of those. Brown Toro, fine too. It's time to attack Oakland and Detroit and the Mariners. Montero's interesting just because he's against such a high K lineup in the against the Mariners, but I don't know. He's got like a 6 ERA. He's had a couple games early on the season where he's in the teens, and if he can do that, I see some projections putting him anywhere from like 12 to 14 DK points. So I think he's in play here, but I think I'd rather stack Seattle against them just because they've been so cheap and actually putting up some runs recently. And Castillo on the other side, I think is going to be popular also at 8-2 against the Detroit team. He's been rocky this season, but he's been better recently. So I think you definitely have to consider him as an SP1 if you want to pay down and get some expensive stacks in there, like Baltimore, or if you want to use him as a SP2, it definitely works for that. Bat-wise, Detroit would just be a leverage stack against Castillo and a cheap one, and Seattle, like I said, I like them as a cheap stack. Dodgers and Phillies, again, like I said yesterday, I don't know where to go with these ones. You got two decent pitchers here, both lefties, Sanchez and Kershaw. Sanchez has been okay this season, starting to grow as a young pitcher. Has good games, has bad games. Dodgers got Freeman back, but it's lefty and lefty. Otani's lefty and lefty, so I think Sanchez is somebody to consider in the middle range here. Kershaw, he's still ramping up after the injury. I don't know how many pitches, 80, 85. The Phillies have to start hitting it sometime. They've just been abysmal. Like batting averages below the Mendoza line ever since the All-Star break, which was below 200. It's just crazy. So I think they both pitchers are GPP darts if you want to take them, and I think both teams, if it's a stack or fade. Um, so the top of the lineup's getting starting to get expensive here with Otani, uh, Hernandez, Freeman, Smith. And if you want to go like mid range here, the Dodgers are so cheap. Like Rosario should get in there. Pagas, Kike Hernandez. Armada's, I know he had a home run like his first game as a Dodger, but he's more of a defensive player, so I probably wouldn't play him. So if I'm playing the Dodgers, if you can get Otani, it's fine, but I'm just going Hernandez, Smith, Pagas, Teoscar Hernandez. Probably keep skipping okay, Kike or Rosario to round it out, however the batting order shakes out. So I got for you. Let's look at the builds there. So I'm taking Castillo and Lopez. Definitely love that pairing for cash. And then give me the Mets here, Alonso, Lindor, and Taylor. Then filling in with the Blue Jays, Horwitz and Varsho. They're very cheap. They bat consecutively. Then you'll just have to decide who else you want from the rest of the Mets or the Blue Jays to finish off your stack, or if there's a one-off you like, then fill them in there. I've taken Gray as my pitcher for GPP, and then I'm gonna go with like Severino, not going Montero because I'm stacking Seattle there against him, but Severino or Stripling or Springs there. So give me Baltimore, give me the run round with Holiday, and Krauser, Henderson, and Santander, and I'll let you decide if you want to pick a fifth one or if you want to go more Seattle, then you can get a better SP2 there. But Raleigh, the catcher, and either Rojas or more kind of as a wraparound. Robus, if I don't want to give you him as a core play. But I probably will fill him in at the outfield spot here. I hate like filling in all your outfield spots. I like you to be a little bit creative with your lineups. So that's what I got for you. If you have any questions, put them in chat below. Hit me up MegaRoller31 on Twitter /X. If you want more information on FSi DFS, you can go to the description of the video, and the link to our webpage for our pricing is there. And if these videos helps back, like, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. So thanks for watching. McKinley will have tomorrow. I have Thursday, and then McKinley will have the weekend because NASCAR kicks back up. So look for some videos from that if possible. I didn't look at the schedule yet to see how tight qualifying and the start of the races, but if there's a window, I'll get a video out. If not, I'll try to do a speculation one. So thanks for watching. Good luck in your contest. Hope you have an amazing Tuesday, and I'll see you next time.